This Saturday, February 15th at 7:30 p.m. at the Desautels Concert Hall, the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra will be putting on a very special concert in honor of Valentine's Day. Called Cherry Blossom Dreams, the concert will feature songs by George Gershwin, Frank Sinatra, Stevie Wonder, and so much more. This is a concert that is sure to be a perfect date night out. Joining the WJO will be the amazing Filipino singer Charito. For those unfamiliar with Charito, she is a renowned Filipino jazz singer whose remarkable talent has earned her international acclaim. She has had a career that spans decades and has established herself as one of the leading voices in jazz, captivating audiences around the world. Her musical journey began in the early 1990s with the release of her album, The Girl in Japan, which opened doors for collaborations with renowned international artists. Charito made history in 1996 as the first Filipina to perform at the Montreal Jazz Festival, where she wowed a crowd of 70,000 people. Over the years, she has toured globally, performing in countries such as the United States, Brazil, Germany, and the Philippines, and in the process has recorded 17 CDs. Known for her smooth, emotive voice, Charito blends jazz with influences from various genres, making her performances both dynamic and expressive. In addition to her extensive discography, she continues to inspire audiences with her passion for music. And joining me here in the Classic 107 studio to talk about her upcoming performance with the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra, I am joined by Charito. Hi, nice to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. Good afternoon.
So I want to first start out with your story. I found it so fascinating. My understanding is your home base is in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up performing there? And can you tell a story about how you moved from your university degree in the Philippines to ending up performing in jazz professionally in Japan?
All right. Well, I guess I was born singing because I've been singing naturally ever since I was a kid. And I studied mass communications at the University of Santo Tomas in Manila.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I was doing some little gigs here and there, inspired by my uncle at the time. And then I joined an audition from... managed by the Hotel Club Restaurant Association of Japan, and I won first place and a 6-month contract to Japan. So that's how I got there. And I tried to convince the dean of my university at the time to let me go, give me a grace period of 6 months. She wouldn't allow me. She said, you can't do two things at the same time. But I was able to go anyway. So, and I promised to come back, but I never did. That's the time it was a very good stint. I also met my husband there. He was my pianist. He was still in the music business at the time. And yeah, we worked together for a time, and then I moved to Tokyo. Because I started in the city of Sendai, which is 300 kilometers away from Tokyo, north. And the passion was climbing way up in my head. So I just needed to be in the center. And so when I moved to Tokyo, that's when things really started happening very fast. For some reason, I got all the invitations. I became center of attention, and I was working right away with the big names. Without me knowing that I was already in the jazz business.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history, right. Mm-hmm. It happened so fast.
Yeah. One of the other things I found out about you is, my understanding is you've got family here in Canada, right?
Yes,
in fact,
sir.
there's a nephew here in Winnipeg?
Yeah, in Winnipeg. Most of my siblings came here I just found out earlier, 86. But my sister was here our eldest sister, I should say, in 79 when she got married. She was the first one to move here and met her husband. And then, 86, the rest of the family came. It was during a very hard time in the Philippines, political crisis and everything. I was already in Japan at that time. I was the one first to move out right after my sister left. And so, yes. And the rest, everyone, just scattered away, Vancouver, Ontario. And it's just my nephew now with his family
In Winnipeg.
in Winnipeg.
I saw an interview that you did where you were talking about performing in Japan, and you were talking about it was learning by performing. What was it like getting paid to learn?
Fun. Like I said, everything happened so fast. I guess I really love what I did. And yeah, it picked up so fast. And I got paid doing that. I was in the Philippines, singing was just kind of second nature to me. I didn't think of it as a profession because early on you would be discouraged to go into the music business, as always by parents, right? But when I moved to Japan, I discovered a whole new horizon that music can be such an art that you can be an artist doing it. Meeting my husband and seeing how they were also advanced in learning the arts and in performing. Yeah, that's how I advanced quickly.
So when you were learning, I mean, so much of learning is just listening to other musicians. So what singers were you listening to try to emulate?
Okay. Everyone. At a young age, I was already listening to the Bossa Nova, Stan Getz and Astro Gilberto.
Gilberto, yeah.
Because, in high school, I was playing guitar. I was teaching high school. I was still in my sophomore year, and I was already teaching the high school buddy how to sing the songs at Mass, because it was jazz Mass. So it was a lot of Bossa Nova. So I got the influence of Astro Gilberto. But I was, of course, listening to a lot of Motown. Yes, that was my first love.
Fantastic. Okay, so I want to turn to the show with Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra. How did it come about? Did Richard Gillis approach you? Like, how did this collaboration come about?
I've been coming to Canada almost every year until pandemic happened because my family is here. My mom was here until she passed, so I was here every year. And during that time, I was always trying to, get to know musicians, get into whatever's happening in Vancouver. You mentioned earlier, I was at Montreal twice. But then I've done a lot of cities like also LA, New York, San Francisco. Not much in Vancouver, actually. Yeah, but it's happening now. And I met I reached out through Richard because I saw the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra and I was so intrigued by it.
Yeah.
And so I wrote on Facebook and he replied to me. And so that was in 2020. And then fast forward to just recently, right? And he emailed me and said, "Are you still interested to come?"
Yeah.
Of course. And I said, of course. Yeah.
Can you talk about some of the songs that you're going to be performing? And one of the other things I'm wondering about is where do the charts come from? Is the big band supplying them, or did you supply some charts to the WJO?
I have brought some of my charts that I recorded with the Manhattan Jazz Orchestra, but they're very heavy to bring and very cumbersome to carry around. And so we agreed to do most of the charts that Richard has, the arrangement that the WJO has. Yeah.
And can you talk about specifically some of the songs that you're going to be performing?
They're mentioned earlier, like some Sinatra, Gershwin. Yeah, a lot of the favorite stuff.
Yeah, American Songbook. I've seen some wonderful videos where you are performing with smaller jazz ensembles. When performing with a big band, do you find yourself having to project more? And if so, does that change the way you interpret a song?
No, I guess I just project more because, you're working with a whole lot more number of members. So, and I love the intensity. I love working. I love big band so much. I also love just singing with a piano. Yeah, I naturally just go with the flow.
Yeah.
But I love big band so much. Big band sound, yeah.
It's going to be fantastic. Winnipeg has such a strong and vibrant Filipino community. And one of the exciting things about the concert is, in addition to the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra, there's also going to be a performance by the Sisler High School Jazz Band. Sisler's got a large Filipino population,
Wow.
students, and the Rondella, they're a traditional Filipino string ensemble. While you're here in Winnipeg, are you going to have any opportunity to engage with the Filipino community, or is you just...
I'm being kept busy by WJO, so we're going to be visiting some students at the UFM and some colleges tomorrow. Yeah. I think I will be engaged.
Yeah. So you're doing master classes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Some small performances as well. Yeah.
fantastic. The concert on Saturday sounds like it is just going to be great. What do you hope audiences are going to take away from the show on Saturday?
Oh, to enjoy jazz more. Jazz is not being a genre, but an experience, because that's what I think it is about. I always tell my audiences that when you listen to us, listen to the conversation that's happening, because we're making music in the moment.
Fantastic. Charito, this has been wonderful to have you here today. All the best on Saturday. Thanks for taking the time out of your very busy schedule.
Thank you.
To chat with me today. This has been great.
Thank you so much. Maraming salamat po.
For our Classic 107 listeners, the Cherry Blossom Dreams concert with the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra in Charito takes place this Saturday, February 15th at 7:30 at the Desautels Concert Hall. For more details, visit winnipegjazzorchestra.com or go to classic107.com. I've embedded a direct link to the show page in the article that is up about the concert there. Thanks again.
Thank you.